get the vibe. Sudowrite rhythm, let the stories come alive. From the spark of desire to a burn.
So welcome to Sudowrite, the homeroom engine, back to school middle grade series, part 2 of 4.
Hi, I'm Manon and this is John. We are Sudowrite instructors. Quick ground rules: camera and mic off to keep audio clean. Got questions? Raise your hand or type question in chat. We'll do Q&A at the end, and we stick around after recording stops for off-camera questions. You'll get a feedback email. We love constructive notes and appreciate 5-star ratings if this helped. Subscribe, hit the bell, and let's get started.
And keep your seats in the upright seat back positions. Right, Ellie? You are on a plane.
Yeah, so this is me. I'm Manon, an author, published author, and a life coach. And this is why I write book for children. Let's put it that way. When I go out, people say I look young. It's not possible to have kids with the age they are, Says, well, my secret is because I am writing for children and I keep my heart young. So I'm going to keep at it. What's about you, John?
I am an author and I also test software. So I'm published on KDP and we have some of those links in the things that we're sharing.
Absolutely. So this is basically from the first one. That's my first book of the series of 52 books. Try to remember what I put in my presentation. Oh, I forgot to put your book there, but let's wait a second here. Let me see if I have to show you anything else in this little presentation. You're going to learn to use Sudowrite story and network workflow, target the age group of middle grade. I saw John using early middle grade. Oh, you say that again in your prompt?
Yeah, I was using early middle grade because it brings it more like 7 to 9 as opposed to 9 to 12 or 9 to 11.
Okay, so that's one thing that John can show us. I realized that for me, I changed it and I removed that and I put the age 8 to 13. What age group are you working or writing for? You can answer in the chat. And obviously the winner at the end is the children.
Is that your grandson?
No, it's just a image from Canva. Thanks for playing. All right, let's move to the next sharing. We're going to show you this one here. So here, this is the document that I share with you already in the chat. We can share over and over and over. I just want to bring attention to day 2, where actually last week I realized that people was asking about John. Where does he write? What is his name and all that? So I put John book here so you can go and click and find his book in Amazon. It's free. You can go and read it. It helps a lot when people go and read in Amazon. You have no idea that each time you turn a page in KDP, is that KDP we call that, or is that something else?
Kindle Unlimited for
Yeah.
the people consuming.
Yeah, so basically when it's free, we still have things coming to us because it's under the subscription. So it's helping the author when you turn those pages inside Kindle. And this is the last one I just published, book number 10 of the series of 52. And this is the notion that we work on today and going to get it even much better. What else can I add to this, John?
I think that's about it. I'm just going to share the link again because someone just joined.
So any question before we jump in?
Can I just ask a quick one? I was typing it, but I'm too slow.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You know what you just said about Kindle Unlimited? If
Mhm.
you've got your book for free to buy for free, do you still get income from the library side?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yes. So it,
Okay.
Now I may just have made that book free for the next 5 days as an incentive to get people to download it. Yeah. So I've been doing that every now and then.
Yeah, thank you.
cool. Any other question? All right, John, are you ready to jump in? You want to share your screen?
Sure. Okay, so let's take a quick look at our the page that we shared, and we'll talk a little bit about what we did before. Um, we have this market overview, which talks about fantasy chapter books as a market research. Minnow, did we share a way, or are we going to share a way about how to do the market research yourself?
The same one I showed up in the other class, you mean on Thursday?
I was thinking about that, yeah.
Okay, I will have to work it out and share it. I can put that in the bonus video I'm going to do for this class.
That's a great idea. So, yeah, it needs to get sort of cleaned up for the kids' books, and I think that'll be great if we can have that either this next, or maybe it'll be about also we'll revisit on the fourth class or something. I'm not sure, but essentially this fantasy chapter books market research is a deep research that I did, and I pulled back information and I use it and this is what we talked about last week, in conjunction with another paper about middle grader series foundations that talk about, just to give you extra context for brainstorming, and my brainstorm series ideas. And so I have a guides, which are right now I've included one for cozy robot bedtime stories and one for cozy plushy monster bedtime stories. You could take these guides into any chat and get them to repurpose them towards the kinds of stories that you'd like to write. So if you take a look at what they look like, they're kind of describing a generic animal world or robot world, or a series of friendships with the archetypes of characters that could be expected within a nice rounded television series or series of books. But I was using all of these documents daisy chained inside of Sudowrite to create a place that I could then use to brainstorm ideas for the series and then specifically for the initial book. So where we were at the end of last class is we actually got some brainstorm series ideas. We got an outline that we could turn into a book. And so that's where I am here. This is one I just spun up this morning. So I haven't actually turned it into a book yet. But this is this is what I was doing. So another thing I'm doing is I'm doing something, again, this is not writing the book. This is writing a brainstorming session. That's how do you use loose ideas around different books to kind of describe the kind of thing you're going for. And so in this one, I focused it by saying, think Winnie the Pooh and Paddington Bear and Freddie the Pig in a gentle monster world mashup. Lean more toward a gentle monster Paddington Bear with detective tendencies, only they are baffled by normal human things. The things could also be silly to kids, but normal. So kids know more and find the investigations hilarious. So I'm kind of focusing it on detectiveness, but I'm also looking for these elements from these other stories to kind of influence the brainstorming for the books that I want to write. And then this thing at the bottom, I have create an 18 chapter outline for book one, and it creates essentially a template for outline chapters. What do I want them to look like? And specifically, what's important to me right now is trying to get outlines that feed a book that has better sets of reveals, that hide stuff at the beginning of the book and reveal stuff as it goes along, and then the characters change because of that. And being able to get that to generate without human interference during the generation is part of the deal. But the other thing to remember on all of these things is that everything that we do in Sudowrite is incredibly available for you to edit. So even though, I've got these 4 things where I have, the first one is brainstorm 10 premises. The second one is read back, find the best one, and tell me why, and dive deeper into the series Bible. Then create a full series report for the project. And no, we may have had another one that was better for number 3, and so we might want to provide that to people too, about the kind of series report that we're looking for. Or maybe there was an extra one between 3 and 4 that helped to create the world before asking for the outline. But you can run these by themselves. Like if I run this, it came up with one solution out of the 10, but you could read through the 10 ideas and say, oh, I like this idea better. So you could duplicate this document. You could throw out everything from scene 2 down and just type this one wins. And then when you run it from scene 2, continue from scene 2, it would act as if it chose the winning one. It would describe why it wins, and then it would continue on and create an outline for that first book. And then in the future, when we want to come back to this, we could go and we'll add another line and ask for the outline for the second book, and add another one and ask for the outline for the third book. Also important to what I'm doing in Sudowrite is I've got continues from the end of, and I'm continuing from the end of Guide to Creating Cozy Plushy Monster Bedtime Stories. So it feeds that information in. And I've chained it so that it starts with the fantasy chapter book market research information, the middle grade series information, a guide to helping you write a series so that it gets to the end of the book and it knows that there's going to be a second book, and that it's creating more of a flat arc as opposed to the characters, save the world every time. It's more of they're like a detective. They don't grow that much. They grow a little bit each time.
Can I jump in, Jai?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to go back and reiterate everything we show from the first class and losing a lot of time on that. I want to make sure that we show the next step in this session because it's already 15 minutes in. Yep. And I want you to show us the next step because I already did that bonus video. So it's also inside our document. You can find all those bonus video. If not, trust me, I will put it on the special link there. But for me, John, I got a lot of questions on how do I continue now? I have my story. There was a few questions in the chat that we can answer at the end because it's directly related to building our series. But now everybody should have at least one series from what we taught them already. So they have their series, they choose their story, they wrote their story. What's the next step?
Okay. Did they write their story? That's the question. Did they copy everything into here? Sorry, just ask everybody. Yeah. Say yes or no. And if they don't need to see it, then they don't need to see it. But this part is useful if you haven't seen it yet.
We have a ton of people who wrote their story. I got emails and
okay, great. Then let's jump to we want to write the second story.
We want to know how we get to link all that and write the second story of that series. How do we link all that from that nice report we got, where we have already the title for book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In most cases, it's about 6 books. How do we do after that? We have super story, and we want to know what's come after.
That's what I do. I copy the thing and I say, okay, let's create a 18 chapter outline for book 2. And then I say generate from scene 6, not 6, it'll be 5. Scene 5 here. 6 is empty. And I would just generate that. Now, if you're concerned that you don't have exactly the information, like that the generation didn't match up exactly with the outline that you came up with, then you could bring in this as another element. Because this is the bookmark beast. This is the story for bookmark beasts, which hasn't been rendered yet, hasn't been generated yet. But so you could bring that in. But I think what I would do is I would just copy and paste 4 and 5. Remember that all of the information that we have
It's already
has the story Bible for the series. And so if I just tell it to generate with excellent, it should just go on and generate the next outline for us, and then just go and render that outline. But I would probably link to the previous document.
You should be already linked to the previous document, isn't it?
Um,
Because you're still in the report right now. You're doing that in the original report where we got the first book.
right. I'm doing this in the original report, but when I go to make the second book, I will probably link the second book to the first book.
Ah, okay.
Now, that's not necessarily necessary. And you could do things like go to the first book and summarize it and link to that. Here's a summary of the first book, and then sort of link through that. But what I did to generate the first book was to link to my brainstorm.
Mhm.
And that was able to grab all the Serious Bible information. It doesn't have to go looking for it in the Story Bible. Yes, of course. I was thinking. Okay, so the other thing that you can do is that, let's see, I have these saved somewhere. Okay, so I'm gonna
Let it go and open another one.
I'm letting that one go because it's rendering this. It's rendering the second outline for that the second book. But the thing that I had forgot we were going to talk about was that what we want to do is export the book as finished as it is, and it doesn't have to be completely finished to start writing the second book. But I want to export that as docx. So I'm gonna go with a scrap heap.
So I accept your question, John.
Yeah.
This one here, you put book 1 is the whole outline is in the scene number 1.
Right, but what I was going to do was show you guys how to, like, if you're up in the address bar at the top and you do Control F, then you can type something like chapter, right? And so that will allow you, and sometimes what you need to see is # space chapter, and that shows you where these chapter breaks are. And then you can go in there and easily break it up by chapter as scenes. So I would have 18 scenes, and I would just walk around and make those.
So us how to break down our outline to be able to write the book.
Yeah, and like I wouldn't go. One of the reasons why I think this works is because it doesn't fill up the story Bible with information as it's supposed to be seen right now. So one of the things that I keep seeing happening is that when I know the entire book and I set up my story Bible as though it was for a writer who is going to write the entire book, that's great for the writer, but that's not good for the AI. So the AI almost needs to experience the book the way the reader does. And it's like you don't want to feed the AI all of the information. You want to feed the AI the information it needs for the first chapter while it's writing the first chapter, and the second chapter while it's writing the second chapter. Now, if you're okay with a lot of information coming from the AI, then just giving a little bit of scaffolding is enough for it to write. And you can do it one chapter at a time, or you can do it the whole book and then go and fix the whole book if it needs it. But if you do it one chapter at a time, it gives you the opportunity to fix it something early. So, okay, I don't actually want that name there, or I don't want that element of the story available or visible yet. You can rip it out.
What I like with this system there's a lot of things that is misguided research journal. There's things like that. Sometimes it's in bracket, and even the AI says, I'm not going to write about it yet. I'm going to put it in chapter 13. I got some of those in my own generation.
So it talks about it in the prose,
Yeah, he talks
and
about
then
it in prose and
yeah,
says, I'm not going to write it in chapter 3, but I will talk about it in chapter 13. And he does. He does it.
good.
He does right. The second thing is I think I contact you. I says there's some chapter missing. So if you do random this nice system, and then you see chapter 1 to 7 is getting nicely done in the outline, and it says 8 to 10, choose the best one, and basically he doesn't write it. John, you want to tell them how to fix that?
I think what you did was you took it to ChatGPT and just talked it into writing it for you, or possibly you could use the chat over here to flesh out and create a thing that's the same.
Yeah.
Or did we try expand? Did expand work? I can't remember.
I didn't try expand it. I didn't have time, but I used ChatGPT. So basically, I took the whole outline and I said to ChatGPT, I says, can you please read the outline? There's missing chapter. And he says, oh, yes, you're right. The whatever did not write chapter 7 to 9. Do you want me to write it for you? And I say, yeah, can you do that? And he says, I'm going to do it on the same voice and the same workflow that the other one. And he did a beautiful job.
Okay, that's great. So that's the kind of thing that we can use these things for. So what this did was it wrote the next outline for the next book. But I guess what I'm trying to get to is that if you write the first book and you like the first book, what you can use novel import for is to import the first book, because that's sort of like the story Bible, that's sort of the story world, and use novel import to import that first book so that you can then write the second book on top of that story Bible.
So you're going to show us your workflow so we can follow
I'll
you
try.
on
I
that?
will try to do that.
Okay,
So let's do.
so you have that first book outline, then you add number 5 twice, and you says, please write book number 2. So
Yeah.
this one going.
That one finished. The problem is I don't actually have book number 1 of that one written. So I'll do it. I'll go with the Wibbleworth fuzzy something here, and I'm going to export him to Wibbleworth. And so I'm going to just export that as docx.
Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on one of mine and see what that gives me, because I have 3 of them that have been rendered and written.
Yeah, I did the same, but I was thinking I was at a different point today. So Wibblesworth, a new folder.
I would suggest to duplicate the system so you can keep the original the same. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yes.
Yeah, and we're working on book number 2.
Okay. So I'm going to go in and grab that and create a new folder. And actually, at this point, I would create a series folder for this. But I'm going to make a regular folder first because I'll put other stuff in there.
So we're going to show them how to start the series now.
Essentially, yeah, that's I mean, so I make a new project. Sorry, it's not a new project, sorry.
And yes, I'm going to do a bonus video step by step.
So I got a new folder. This will be my series for Wibbleworth. And in here, I'm going to import, and I'm going to import Wibbleworth. So that I'm importing that first document. Sorry, the first book, the entire written book. I wrote the first book without a story Bible set up. I just had a little bit of information about the style that I wanted written in, the voice and stuff. And I had information about the genre. So, but in the genre, I didn't put too many tropes. I focused on the reader and the age, because that's what I'm writing to. Maybe you can put fantasy or something very generic or highly general, so that it doesn't fall into a looping system. So if you put your trope information into genre and you get it to write multiple chapters, it's quite possible that each of those chapters will reiterate the trope. And likely, if you've given it a whole story, like a complete story Bible for that story, it feels like it writes the end of the book over and over and over, or that it always goes from chapter 1 to the end of the book, chapter 2 to the end of the book, chapter 3 to the like, and it feels super repetitive. So you don't want that. So I'm just grabbing Wibblesworth, and we'll see how long it takes to pull that in. And I will probably go get Wibblesworth to write a second thing for that, since we're Wibblesworth, Fuzzington. Okay, so that's going to bring in and create a story Bible for the first book in the Wibblesworth series. And if I'm in Wibblesworth's brainstorm, then I will brainstorm the next book for Wibblesworth. Copy that. So you could generate all of this stuff for the entire series at the beginning. You know, a lot of people are talking about how they only want to do a certain amount right now. They just want to get one book done. That's fine. Don't have to do the series. But what's fun about generating the pilot for a series is if the book works, then you know where to go next. You're not painted into an empty room. And I want to make sure I've connected this. So creating cozy, yeah, cool. And I'm just adding that to the end of what I've got and continue on.
And you didn't get to the end of your story?
Monster Exchange did is completed. So
okay.
Sorry, it's not Monster Exchange, it's Wibblesworth. It's a different series. This is at step 3 of 6 at the moment. And we'll wait for this to generate the second thing. We've probably got to wait for me to generate both the outline and getting the novel import working. Do you want to show some stuff for a little bit, or take some more questions?
Let's take some question. I just generate number 5. I can show what that look like.
Yep.
So this is the one I just did when John was showing. So basically I went inside the scene. I didn't do anything complicated. I just copy number 5 and I says create the outline for book number 2. I didn't even change the this here, which I think is still the reminiscence of writing the story, which is I believe it's Monster in the Shadow. This is basically the original because I did duplicate the number 1 here is the duplication. So I don't lost anything from the first one. And then let's go to scene, this off, at the bottom. So 5, so it says basically Reluctant Monster Hunter is the series name. He's talking about book 1. I think it's number 6 I'm supposed to go, right? Yeah, no, it's 5. So he's talking about that, the beginning state, the prologue. Did you get what he was supposed to do? Normal is relative. Hold on, let me go down a bit. It's supposed to be 6.
10 chapters.
There's more than 10 chapter. Shadow in the horizon. Pacing. Miranda. There it is. This is the next part here. The Reluctant Monster, book number 2, chapter Bible. So this one is called a bit different. The Owl in the Hallway, which is basically continue the series. That's book number 2, beginning state. The reader believe the collector is a sample, so it's one of the antagonists here. Chapter goal. So everything is doing pretty good. Obviously, you go and read everything. to make sure everything makes sense, and make sure that you have all your chapter before you try to render your outline inside your scene box and get book number 2 written. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're doing pretty good. 9. You didn't jump over anything, and we have basically 10 with the epilogue. So I saw some of yours that you put down that you want 18 chapter.
Yeah, it was just where I was getting for word count. I was getting like 21, 22, 27,000 words for these. So the chapter is about 1,200, 1,500 words.
Okay. So basically from this, you will do the same thing in book number 1. You will create book number 2, put everything in scene and write it, or you would go in and start a series.
And the big thing about starting a series, you don't have to start the series until you get the third book. And what we're talking about is using a series folder for the third book, because when you do that import novel, you want to blend the first book's story Bible with the second book's story Bible so you can write the third book.
So basically, take our outline and we bring it in and start writing book number 2, considering that says, okay, I'm happy with that. The prologue. I like this part also. The top part over your prologue. Don't throw it out. Use it. What I do with that is I create a blank to create my new story to go. In my scene box, I know it's going to be all messed up. So I go and do everything John is doing. But this part here, I take it and I bring it inside my extra instruction.
So that affects the entire arc of the story.
Exactly. But he does a pretty good job. Why is my extra not there?
You're gonna have to click somewhere and make a new. It's mad at you for putting 100 scenes in. I don't know.
Okay, so I have to go and correct that. So let's see if we can put excellent. And I got my little story here to help me writing in excellent. And we have a little glitch. So we'll figure that one out why we have a glitch. But normally we're supposed to have the extra. You see, we click somewhere else, I click everywhere else, and it's not showing up. All right, so I go and correct it. In the meantime, you can ask question or where are you in your rendering?
I will tell you where I am. It's still at step 3 for extracting outline, and it is it's still writing the second
Okay.
thing. So I'm at a waiting point. Still.
I guess I can show you what I do differently than John on that. Let's see if I can share this. Where's my little mouse? I have 3 screens and my mouse is going from one screen to the next. Okay, where is that? This one. So here, this is what I use to put my books together. This is my favorite toy in all my writing besides Sudowrite is the vellum. This is where I put my outline, where I put my character, where I put everything I know about my story, and this is what I send to my editor. So what I do is basically I take everything from the outline, which normally I take it over here first, because when it's over here, it's less complicated. So let me get you through that. I'm doing that because your stuff is not finished.
Yeah.
Going to.
But I like seeing what you're doing because like I don't have Vellum. I don't have a Mac. But a lot of people are showing it off.
I'm doing
nice.
now, I'm just going to get the outline back from Sudowrite with all the little stars and stuff to show you exactly what I do, because now I have more work to do because there's number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So edit that, pass that along. So in Vellum, what is fun, we also have that little loop. And I go and say, find all these number and replace all. Then I go get the little star and I say replace all. So that clean up this part of my story. Then I just go here, this part I know I want to keep it, this stay there, so I start right there. So basically I take this one, back it up, dot, and I go to every line, I just back up twice. And that's how I cleaned up my outline. And when I bring it in, it's ready to write. Anyone else is using Vellum?
Jean said that she saw demoed yesterday. It made such a clean visual experience for the reader. MR loves it. Ellie says yes.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And the editor, they really love it. When they have the Vellum on their computer, you send them the Vellum file and they open it and they basically see everything you've done from the image to everything, the setting and all that. So it's making their work a lot easier. And then they also see what that look like right away inside the an iPad, a cell phone, paper version. And Vellum is doing a lot of nice stuff. And no, I don't have, I'm saying that because I'm not paid by Vellum. Just let you know I'm not sponsored by them.
So Jean says when you cleaned it up, does not flag when you forget a space after a period.
The flag is basically done by Grammarly.
So you just ignore it.
Ignore it. Sometimes I go for fun, I just fix them up because I just like to do it. And normally it's because I'm having Speechify on the other end reading another story. So I have time to kill because I just need to have, I call that no-brainer work right now.
Mhm.
Because it's like just get the first, back up twice, get the first, back up twice. So when I can listen to something else in the same time, and when I hear the mistake, I just go to the story I'm listening in Speechify and fix it. So I do some no-brainer stuff in the middle. How's your generation?
I now have a second outline and I have a thing. So it's, let me copy this first and then I will share screen.
Any question in the chat? Because I don't see the chat right now.
That question about the period was the last one I remember.
And I like the fact that we can keep all that, the continuity tag, the cast, and everything else. And the AI did evolution so much from 3 years ago. We don't have to delete it. He knows what to do with it. He doesn't put it in the story, says, hey, here's the setting.
Okay, so I'm inside of my, I copied my outline. And this one says the second outline appeared tucked beneath the first one, as if Wibble had been too shy to present both at once. This one had a blue thread binding instead of purple, Flibbit's color, with tiny paw prints tracking across the cover. Book 2, The Birthday Party Panic, was spelled out in sequins and glitter, a few pieces falling off when the publisher opened it. The scent of cake frosting and nervous sweat wafted up from the pages. So The Worry Eaters, Book 2, The Birthday Party Panic. And so this is the first book, which has this and all this stuff, which is great, but okay, did I need all of this right now in here? I don't know. But what I wanted was the story Bible built from the first book. And so if I pull down, I can kind of see what it gave me. It gave me a genre that's very specific. It, as long as it stays general, I'm okay with it. And so I think it does. And I think it applies to the series. So I'm okay. We'll keep that genre. I'm going to need to go get my style from the other page so that I have the same style. Shoot, did I copied this? I need a new book in here first. I don't want to lose. So my blank document is going to be book 2.
So when you render book 2, you link it to which?
I'm going to link it to book 1. If I go into trash can here, let's see, there's like a 1. And if I grab whizzing that's the original thing. So if I want to restore that, I can restore that document. Now I can go back and that document is sitting inside of here. And I can go to my blank document And inside my blank document, I can link it to the first complete book. This will work on the second book mostly because the first book is less than 20,000 words. Once it gets more than 20,000 words, we need to start creating summaries of these books and adding those in. Is here's what happened in the first book, here's what happened in the second book, and just sort of link to that as a sort of an ongoing. Okay. Okay, so that was, there's Untitled. And then Untitled, I want to go to link my chapter book, my first book, connect it to that one, which was the original book. I'm going to turn on my draft, and I want to be able to shift, paste all that in there. Okay, so now I've got all those guys in there. Don't need so much history here. I don't need it all right now. Okay, so I'm going to look in here, and I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to find chapter. Is it just chapter by itself there? Star chapter. So sometimes it gives us one, sometimes it gives us another. So I'm just going to start breaking that up into the chapters. It's not bad. Okay. Gotta make sure there's not an epilogue. Sometimes there's an epilogue.
I think it's important for book 2 to have an epilogue.
No, I'm just, it depends on what your structures feel like. If you like the problem with having epilogues on any of these things is, what do you use it for? If you use the epilogue to transition you to the next book, then great. But if it's written into the last chapter, then just use it as the last chapter. But you might want to do it where a prologue sums up everything and an epilogue projects you into the next book. And so you could use it. You could use prologues and epilogues that way in a series like this. But if it's Murder, She Wrote, do you need an epilogue of every episode of Murder, She Wrote before you watch this one? Not really. And I'm getting rid of this stuff, which is just sort of which is it likes to write stories about the publisher. And I don't need that story about the publisher in my book. And well, getting up there, just grabbing these guys and getting us chopping it up. If it does that, you have to double click sometimes.
It's not listening.
I know. And then after this, it's just I got to grab my style and I got to grab the extra instructions that I use. The other thing that you can do is use trope rater and character arcs. And if I wouldn't use it in this though, I would have to delete my outline first to do it. So I if because I have the outline in my copy paste right now, so I can just paste that into Troperator. But I don't want it affected by the first book. So I need to get rid of the outline that's sitting in this thing in order to use it. I don't actually mind the markup stuff. Sometimes it makes it easier to see.
I like the rest of the documentation we get too when he's telling you that because it's talking about September, so you can write book one, you can publish it during the September month. As you publish it, you work on book number two, and he's telling you to wait like a couple of months before you publish book number two and book number three. So basically, you have a whole series published inside a year, pretty much when you follow everything from that report.
Yeah, it gives pretty good ideas.
Yeah, some of the year you see is talking about 2023, 2024, just put 2025 or 2026 if you think you need more time.
So I'm going to get rid of my outline and just tell it to delete it because this is the outline of the book that I just imported. And so I think this is different because what I was thinking about before was you created this stuff you'd import your project in, but when you do that, it kind of freezes your characters, and I don't like it. So, but what I wanted to do here was I brought in that first book because the first book is canon and it has the information from there has been piled into this story Bible.
So there's two ways to go about it. You can keep going the same way that book one for book two, or you basically import book one and attach book two outline to it and continue.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. And so what I just did here was
It's strange doing it.
I'm running Troperator. Troperator will give me a card that I'll add to my story Bible. Oh, of course, we have a Mr. and Mrs. Chen. And again, we talked about this before that if the names bother you, fix them. If the names don't bother you, right? I mean, maybe you want to get rid of them later. You can run this whole thing and then change names later. But if it is something that connotes a particular Chen is going to be Chinese American likely in these stories, then you would want to find a name that matches that if you've translated it. But if you decide to go with an Irish name and you do that before you generate the book, then you'll probably get more of an Irish background information about the character as opposed to what the name might suggest.
Did you put a command inside your operator to generate that?
I pasted the entire the same thing that I just pasted in the scenes. So the outline, I deleted the outline inside of this project, and I pasted the outline that I brought in from the brainstorm for the second book. And it creates a Troperator, which is like another little outline that just talks about the way tropes change across. And then I have a card called Style Guidelines, but it's just a single card, a single trait card, and that I have a tendency to name TR because I know it's Troperator. You could also call it chapter guide or something like that. And then the other one that I think I said I didn't use it. I didn't use the writers for the other one, so I'm not going to use the writers here. But we do have the opportunity to include ghostwriters and readers cards.
We can show that too next week.
Yeah, and how to write them and how to set them up. So that's my Troperator, and the other one I like to use is character arcs. So
basically, you are working very hard on your story Bible for book number two for everything to basically match up with book number one and have a very nice continuity when you write.
That's the hope. And I think the thing that really helps that is nice is the novel import helps to sort of nail down some important elements of that first story. And it's useful for the second story to have that background information because it might refer to it and it might be important in canon. And as we're doing this in a series folder, each next book, so I'm going to take book 2, do it import project novel import into the series folder to write book 3. But book 3's project is going to have all the information, story Bible information of book 1 and book 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're building and you're using the series Bible in a smart way without nailing it down so that it feels repetitive or thematically repetitive from chapter to chapter. Okay, did I get to the end here?
So any question so far? Because I know that's a part where it's very complicated in a way, because it's a new way of a workflow to get that story Bible really well written and really well with all those new cards that is going to put after that in the extra instruction on how to use those cards.
So my character cards didn't get to the end, so I'm going to have to ask it, please continue writing from chapter 11, because it didn't finish the chapter 11 part, and then I paste my so I'm this point I'm running character arcs again. There is a character arcs with Opus 4.1. There's a Troperator with Opus 4.1. They are very expensive. They're nice and they finish. The Haiku 3 doesn't always get to the end, and you have to sort of, so this one starts on chapter 11. So that makes it easy to get it going. So I will go and grab the first one and I'll start my card from my character arcs card. Another thing I've been showing people that they need to name your cards and stuff. And I don't know how important it is to talk about your cards in the extra instructions. So what I'm saying is, before I was telling people that they need to, this is the story Bible, this is the character guide. Don't know that you have to do that. I think when you're using draft, it sees them all no matter what. Because everything in draft is built for ingesting whatever you've got in your story Bible.
Can you tell us the character card arc plugin? Where is that plugin take the information from?
It will get the information from the outline, or if you paste an outline in, that's where it's looking at that outline and it's coming up with the character arc information from that.
So right now you have an outline in the outline.
Right now I have no outline in the outline. I have my outline in my so character arc guide. I have my outline in my paste. So if I've copied it, and so I just paste it in, and I'm going to the bottom of this and getting rid up to 11, and then I'll bring the other half in.
Okay.
So there's chapter 11.
Hope that answered the question, Amir.
Yes, that helps. Thank you.
You're welcome. Sometimes we're going very, very fast and we forget to say, I passed the outline in, and I said go.
Yeah. Now, if you have an outline, you can use Character Arcs Guide and you can use Troperator without pasting an outline in.
And you mean inside the story Bible outline?
Yeah, the actual Sudowrite story Bible outline. If you have if your outline's in there, you can use that, and it will build a Troperator around that outline. But if you do what I just did, which is I essentially built an outline off the first book, I don't want to use that outline, so I deleted that outline so it wouldn't use it, and I pasted in the outline that I used for my scenes. And you'll notice that I don't write separate scenes. I write a chapter description, essentially, but I'm giving it particular information, which is all this info, and then I'm adding on top of that. It kind of interleaves the trope rater information and the character arcs guide information. They're like three separate outlines, right? The scenes themselves are like the hidden outline. It doesn't see the whole outline when it writes from scenes. It's only looking at the scene that it is writing. And then it sort of sees into the future because of trope rater and because of character arcs guide, but it's able to focus on the chapter that it's writing currently. And it tends to work out fine and set up nicely. So we've got trope rater, we've got character arcs guide. I would probably put in a ghost writer, though I didn't on this first book, so I'm not going to now. And I would probably throw in a reader, though I didn't on the first book, so I'm not going to now. I am going to grab my style information so that it is the same, because I like it. And let's see if it actually.
Doing that, we're already at 56. So on top of the hour, you're going to get an email asking you your feedback. So let us know how we did. And then we're going to come back next week with the follow-up of this. We're going to probably go another 30 minutes, John.
Yeah, I think
to finish
maybe
this, showing at least the way of doing that book number 2. And next week, we definitely work on linking up all those series and show how to start, probably starting book number 3, and then show a bit even more, because I think we have to work on our character cards, because the character does evaluate between book 1 to the next book.
Also, you did include a couple of other tools, other plugins in the thing. One is a story eval plugin, which is really good for sort of a cursive check of what is, is this thing that I wrote, is this chapter or is this whole story that I wrote working? And it's pretty good at giving you that info.
Story eval. I'm going to put it right away inside the document under the link plugin. So we have full story evaluation, DeepSeek version 3, Sonnet 3.5 version 1.41 nano, Haiku 3.5, and Haiku 3.0. Which one you want? All of them, or you have one preference for middle grade?
I think the DeepSeek eval one tends to be. The other one is fun, like the one about the literary agent or whatever, or the literary thing, but I think it's too nice. So the DeepSeek thing is pretty good. Like it either trips it one way or it trips it the other way. It either likes it pretty much, and it gives good information if there are things that could be fixed. Yeah, I think the DeepSeek is the most reliable. But if you want to feel good about your story, run the literary festival award thing. But I can't remember how much it costs.
Which is the first one, yeah.
Okay, so I added my extra instructions in here. Which is a snarky attitude. I'm using third person past. I'm using lower middle grade reader 8 to 10, blend a third person perspective, witty asides through shifts in perspective, occasional forays into present tense, and a uniquely engaging sound, second person narrative voice, create a rich and immersive reading experience that is thought provoking as it is entertaining. And then I'm going with a third person pass because I've been getting some good results with that. And I'm still adding in a lot of snark, deadpan, heavy dialogue. You can add in naked dialogue if you feel like you have too many tags, but this is for kids, so sometimes it makes it easier if it says she said, he said, they said, the character's name said more. And then I would just run this in Excellent. I'm not going to do that in front of everybody, but I will let it run in a little while. have a voice, but because I'm writing in for middle graders, it will change the voice. So even if you're using salacious material that you wrote in the sample, it won't come out that way with kids. It may come out sillier in some ways, like it might say things that they would find funny and their parents would just find juvenile. But that's like the level that it gets to. That genre aging information is super important.
Can you show us your extra instruction? Yeah, it seems like you forgot to put your TR.
I didn't put it. That's what I'm saying. I don't even need. So what I used to do, and what I would have at the top, something like this is the chapter guide. And this is the character arcs guide. But I don't know that I need it in terms of, I don't know that it's going to
Make a big change.
I don't know. I think it sees the cards no matter what because of draft. All that we only have a certain number of models in draft. And so I think it doesn't actually, like, I don't think there's a filter going on in there, right? We only have basic and excellent and a few of the advanced ones. We don't
So
have everything that the other one has.
yeah, I use excellent pretty much all the time. I don't use Muse often because I find Muse writing shorter stories and I don't like the workflow of it. I'm so used to excellent. John, sometimes you use different one.
Sometimes I use Muse high, like a 10, or sometimes 11 if I'm writing a short story, but sometimes at 10, specifically for brainstorming because it's very creative.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't really filter things the way that other things might. So you get ideas that come across in Muse that you wouldn't get elsewhere.
Yeah.
Excellent is very good at keeping coherency across your chapters, even as you write into 20,000 plus words.
Yeah.
It will pick up and carry stuff forward, and something will drop in the beginning of a chapter and then get sort of a callback at the end of a chapter, and likewise in the story. That's the kind of stuff I'm hoping to get, and that I value a lot. So I'm going to build it into my outline. I'm going to build it into my systems for creating my outlines.
Yeah.
I'm not going to render this right away because that's going to take probably an hour. Depends.
Yeah, on your computer type, may take a bit longer.
Yeah. So you have a faster computer and it goes faster?
Yeah.
Good. I didn't think that would work that way because I thought it was working on another computer altogether.
I have my mini on the side, but I use it only when the other one is overloaded. Depending on I like Mac because they talk to each other from the cell phone to the iPad to the laptop to the mini. It's all linked up, so you don't lose anything.
So I'm stopping my share so we can take a look at if there are any questions.
So this is after I finish putting everything from the vellum. I just copy everything from vellum and put it in here, start at the prologue. I took the top part where it's talking about what happened before and a bit of information on the book and all that. And then I just removed the what you had there, the younger.
Mm.
And I put 8 to 13. And I didn't change anything else. And basically it's ready to render. Do you see anything else I should be doing for book number 2, which right now I keep it as basic as possible, still
Yeah.
linked up to book number 1. And book number 1 is linked up to the whole series information.
Yeah, I think that would work. just fine.
All right. We don't shorten anything, you just click generate. In the meantime, do we have question?
So Rael asks about at what point do you integrate your artwork, and do you use DALL-E or Midjourney or anything else?
My artwork is it's basically when I need it. It's like book number 1, I needed the artwork, and what I did love in our report that we get inside this system, they tell us about the image and even the logo for the series. So I don't know if anyone did go and read all that, but it gives you a lot of information. And some of my book I went and got basically from the report, I highlighted and I asked Visualize to give me an image. I also use ChatGPT. Where is this?
So ChatGPT is amazing if you're trying to get your characters to stay the same from chapter to from
that's
image to image.
Sorry, that's the difficulty I have. This is Rail, and that's the question.
Thank
I
you,
mean,
Rael.
keeping the consistency of characters. It seems if you maybe this is just me, but if I generate all my artwork rapidly within a week, I can get DALL-E to keep consistency between pictures. If I leave gaps, so if I come back to adding more pictures later, maybe a few weeks later, it's very difficult to get it to continue with the consistency or do the characters, but they'll look completely different. It's
Yeah.
So I don't know whether that's just an AI thing or whether it's, if you do it seems the busier you make the AI at one time, it'll honor the consistency. So I'm not sure what is there a better tools? I mean, I've never used Midjourney. I only use DALL-E because it's in Visualize and it's free. But
Mhm.
but my my children's books specifically are full of pictures. I mean, every page has got a picture of some description, so or two. So um, I artwork is very important to the books. So but I haven't really invested any other tools. I mean, I don't know, is Midjourney something that people promote? Is that something you would recommend, or is DALL-E the more standard approach that people tend to use if they're using Sudowrite?
Midjourney is amazing, but it is difficult to get coherency across images.
Yeah,
Though
yeah,
they do have things like omni reference and I don't know if they character reference, but you can give it a particular image, so you seed it with an image that will help you get closer to the character you're trying to get. And I think you could probably do something like that in a side of ChatGPT as well. So you upload an image that has your characters in it, and you tell it to make more of
make more.
those characters. Yeah.
Yeah,
And see if you can get it to work. Also, Bananarama or Nano Banana is amazing at editing right
yeah,
now. And that's a Gemini thing. So you can
yeah,
try that out for free at aistudio.google.com.
yeah. I saw a new one called Artistry. I think that was quite good, but that was to generate a whole book. You can tell it to generate the entire book. It's a sort of pseudo-write alternative almost. It does the text as well as the story pictures, but for the whole book. But I don't know. It's quite difficult. I don't find much inside pseudo-write to help you manage your images.
No,
To
there
do
isn't.
things.
There isn't. It's
There's nothing
not built
to.
for that.
No, no.
Um, yeah. At some point, maybe we're going to get stuff inside of character cards, so you can actually have images of your characters inside the character cards.
Yeah,
We could do things to try to figure out ways to put information into the character cards so that it creates prompts for you that will manufacture the same images with the same character descriptions in the images.
yeah, yeah.
But I haven't really messed around with that enough. But that would be a way I would go and have use from Sudowrite to do that. So you can get it. I have a plugin that is specifically about writing children's, like a 24-page children's book, and it interleaves text prompts of the images with text of the
Right.
writing that's on the thing, and those try to repeat the character descriptions over and over and over again so that you can get similar images.
Well,
And something like that inside of ChatGPT would work pretty well.
yeah, yeah. I don't monopolize the questions, but just an extra on that. Just recently, I've been taking my children's books and personalizing them for people. So where I put art in there that relates to their family, so that it's like kids' books, but it's simulations of their children and if they've got pets like dogs, I'll put pictures of their dogs into the picture. So I'll use a single book and then I'll create multiple versions depending on who I'm selling the book to. And they'll buy 20, 30 copies because they quite like the idea of having, books with their family in it and the kids. So it's I just unpublish the books from Amazon when I finish with them because they're not for general sale, they're for that specific family. So, but that's something I started to do, and it seems to be quite lucrative. So that's a new approach that I've tried with a few books.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. So, but you could do it for birthdays and things, But I, I live in Ireland, so we get a lot of tourists, especially from America, and they're coming searching for family history, and they've got a family home, and they bring generations of their family back, and they've been coming back for years. So it's quite easy to turn a book, especially if you do it around fairy tales and Irish mythology and that sort of thing, and give them a book with their family in it. So it works quite well at the moment. So I'm see if it takes off.
I think this will be the future of book writing, custom writing. That's yeah.
Yeah, well, I know, yeah, you can do it with sort of birthday cards and things quite easily. So I thought, why not books? So it seems it's quite easy to do and you quite get a reasonable resemblance to people quite easily. If they give you their photographs, you can get AI to draw decent pictures that have got quite a resemblance to the real person. So it works. It seems to work anyway.
Yeah. So how are you doing, John, on your side? Are you rending something?
No, I wasn't because I was gonna wait till we get off and I'll let it go as I do this stuff. You're actually getting stuff done. Chapter 6.
Yeah, chapter 6.
What I was gonna do was share the link so that if people want to look at it when it renders, they can.
So we had chapter 7, almost 7, and 11,000 words. I like the length of those books. They're not too long. They're normally around 17,000 words.
Yeah.
And I like the fact, check that when you do the generation, check the end of it, make sure it doesn't stop with in the middle of a sentence. And if it does, I suggest you stop it and just regenerate that scene. For me, it works better than try to continue after it finish.
So you're following along, and if you see that it doesn't finish the scene,
Yeah.
You'll pause it, reset where you wanted to start from,
Yeah.
redo the scene that didn't get finished,
Mm-hmm.
and it will either pick up from where it was or it will rewrite the entire scene.
Rewrite the entire scene.
Yeah.
I like it better than that the other way around sometimes give you some funky stuff. So I find out that it's a lot easier to just stop it and just delete that scene and restart from that scene and make sure that you have the continuity button on, because that's normally why it stopped at some point in the middle of a sentence or a paragraph.
James asks, why not a guide, right, with some of the instructions for the cutoff? And I think the answer to that would be something like if it's important story information that's needed so that the rest of the book can be written, it would be better to get it before the rest of the book is written.
Yeah.
But I've also done exactly what you're saying, or with an expand, or with just a rewrite, with using an instruction inside the prose and telling it to rewrite that instruction.
Yeah, it happens sometimes, you get the whole story and you just let it go and you come back later and you put it in Specify, you listen to it, says, oh my God, the story is so good, but you don't know where the AI goes with the story and says, oh man, he's missing 7, 8, like I did with the other one.
Mm.
I had to basically expand or putting it inside ChatGPT and get it to expand for me and basically rewrite the whole story from scratch. And what I was pretty pleased, it came back with the same story
Mm.
with the addition of the missing chapter. It wasn't too far from the original story, so which is great. So we had 14,000, almost 15,000. So someone was asking how fast you can write a book and publish it earlier. Do you want to answer this one, John?
Well, I answered it before, and it was that as long as you can read it, have some time to read it, it takes you about an hour to generate. It depends on how long it takes you to work these things. But read it and fix it, and so, as long as there's nothing that's where you're like, I don't understand how to change this and this. Sometimes you're going to get that in a paragraph. Sometimes it's across a chapter where you've got a piece of logic that it reverses the logic, and that's what you have to look out for with AI generated stuff, because it makes sense and it'll make sense in context, except it doesn't. Something's messed up about it. It'll say something that sounds more like an aphorism or some little saying, which is good and sounds right, but then if you actually think about what it's saying, it's like, no, it just said the opposite of what it just said, so it contradicts itself within the chapter, and you need to decide, do I just cut all this out so I don't see the contradiction? Do I just cut out half of it so I don't see a contradiction? Or do I figure out how to fix these two phrases, both of which sound good, but they can't exist together?
So I'm at the epilogue. So we took less than 15 minutes to generate that book number 2.
So can you figure out how long it would take to read it at 2 times speed?
At 2 times speed, that's very, very fast.
1.5?
Normally it's about at 1.25, it's 2 hours read. And I like to read. I'm extremely minutious inside my story, and I like to put part of myself in it too. So for me, I always give myself at least a week per book to make sure that first I want to know my character. I want to transform it, that it actually has my voice. I want to get all my image in, and I want to get all the Grammarly going through the whole thing, because Sudowrite write in English, American English, and I'm Canadian, so I want my books in Canadian English. So they all getting the that transform inside the Grammarly. And after that, I sent it to my editor for my editor to look at it. And it did happen that some of the story I thought they were very good, and my editor just says, nope, that's not good enough for publishing. We scrap it. Then got another story going, and that's what it is. So depending on how you do it and how minutious you are about your craft.
So give yourself time. Don't beat yourself up.
Nope.
Read your work, fix it, love it, fall in love with what you're writing, and I think it is yours completely once you fall in love with it.
As someone who's been through Comic-Con, people will ask you questions. So one day you're going to be in one of those places where you're going to have to talk about your book. So if you write it too fast, you publish it too fast, and then you have like 20 books out there and you haven't read them at least 10 times each. When your fan comes around and says, well, can you tell me about this? How did you get about this character? And says, for one thing, that character has a very basic name, which I like, and it can be a male or a female, but I choose to be a male. So I give them some information on the character. So know your story is very important as an author. And this is one of those, when your fan comes to you and asks you a question about the book.
But if you've got 72 books in your series, that could be a problem, couldn't it? Like you say, you're writing too many books.
I have a series of 52 books and
52 books.
a story per night. They're all 365 stories. And when my editor asks me question about my books, because I can look at it, I just put my eyes up in my office and they all attached to the wall. I also have a binder where I minutiously have every single image, and every one of my book has a page with all my character. They have a page for the location of that story for each of those stories. And if a character come back in a different stories, there's a link in my book to show that story goes into book number 5, and it's linked in my binder also.
Gosh.
Fall in love with your character, fall in love with your story, so this way you have no problem in the future either.
Yeah, definitely. And then you make the movie.
That's my next step.
Good, good, good.
Good. So for me, I think we show everything. My homework is going to get that step-by-step bonus video. I will try to see if I can get 3 way of going about that series, John, like the one I just did, which is a very basic one. The one that you import into a series. And what will be the third one?
For today,
Uh-huh.
would it be trope operator stuff or
Yeah, the trope operator. So I will
and the
try this
character arcs?
2 different versions and adding some of those cards, show how to deal with those cards, but because we're going to show how to use them next week, right?
Yeah. Also somebody asked for a editing pass in for like can we show how we edit? So maybe we'll try that on the 4th week or
We did
maybe
ask permission to Sudowrite, what they say?
I don't have permission. I don't have a answer back about that
Okay,
specific
so
thing.
hopefully we're going to have that answer next week to show how the editing works inside Sudowrite. Because we did ask that question. There's a way to do the
Oh,
editing.
yeah. Manon, do you have the kids book generator in your plugins?
Let me check here. This is literature, nest, character arcs, opus,
No, I mean just in your plugins drop down in the story.
I don't. Which one?
It's like a kids book generator, 24 page.
Is it one of mine?
No, it's one of mine.
I don't think I have it.
There it is. Stop. Script. Children's book script, Sonnet 3.7.
This one?
Either one, but do that one. And what was this story about that we just did?
This one?
Yeah.
Basically, it's a young person which doesn't know he has actually a future.
Okay, so states
monster
put that in
hunter.
this instruction set.
Like that. The Recton Monster Hunter basically is the series title.
Okay, let's hit go and let's see what it does.
Is this one also go check what's going on this side?
I don't know. I have no idea. I think it's just
No,
info.
be younger.
It's a picture book.
Okay, that's
So it creates a cover page. It creates page 1. There's the text. Max was the most reluctant monster hunter. And here's the visual. Here's the story Bible info.
okay. That's the one we put inside ChatGPT at some point and got all the image render.
Yeah. And because of ChatGPT remembers what the characters look like, they actually come up pretty good.
Yeah. It takes because it's going to do all the 24 pages.
Yes. What was the name of it again?
The
Children's book script.
I will try to put the link. If I can get out and put the link.
Almost done here.
Yeah, I have it. Page 14, 16, 18. That makes a very nice little storybook, and that I can show.
Where does it put all the pictures?
It doesn't. You have to make them.
Oh, you have to create them, but it gives you the text that you can use to.
Yeah. But if you do it inside of
So
this is one she did that was
this
like
is
it.
the one I did based on book number 1 of my series.
Yeah.
I use my story and I put it inside this this system, and it give me that, and we brought that inside ChatGPT, and ChatGPT render those images.
And ChatGPT actually can generate words inside the books, inside the pages.
On the pages, yeah.
Yeah, you can talk it into spelling them right and everything.
Yeah, and some of the place there you can see here there's a bit of green on my bear.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's because he had a sweater on. So I went inside my Canva and I got Canva to
I've just colored it in. Yeah, okay.
remove the color of the bear. A
Yeah.
few places the bear wasn't actually looking the same, so I had to go and play a bit inside my Canva. Like this one is a different bear, you can tell a little bit.
Yeah.
So I got a different bear and I play with it and fix it up. But this is basically using that plugin.
Yeah,
with-
I think you're using the text inside of um, Canva, correct? You're not doing
Yes,
text from,
yes.
yeah.
I took the
So the,
text which was from ChatGPT because he was having a lot of mistake. I just delete all the text and use the text inside Canva instead. So this is a total book written based on my story.
And the pictures are all outside, generated in GBT, not inside Sudowrite, so it's not
That is
using.
right.
correct.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, okay.
And
So
it
to
took
do it in
about
Sudowrite.
6 hours, I think, to generate, or it did overnight.
All right, okay.
Oh yeah, it's not
Yeah, it'll do it for you one at a time if you get it the whole script. It might
Okay.
die after a little while, but you can start it up again.
Start it up again, yeah, okay. I might experiment with that with the existing books because I've got an awful lot of illustrations in mine and the consistency is a bit weak. So unless I do a lot of editing, so, or cutting and pasting and turning pictures into what do they call them in things where you can say if your picture is just a little drawing where it drops the background, so then you can paste your character on top of a different background. So I use that quite a lot. So some standard function on an iPhone.
oh nice. So where we
Okay, I think we're good. This is pretty good. We can share these links.
Yeah.
Manon is going to um, get stuff up on her YouTube.
Yep.
So you're going to do a visualize on that?
I'm going to see if I can do a visualize on this one.
I would do it on the entire description, but
Yeah, that's
not
true.
the
It's
text.
going
But,
to be too many words
oh, you're right. Okay.
because we got
Yep.
oh well, maybe it will work. I can do twice. One thing that John showed me is if you like the image and visualize, you can actually bring that image inside ChatGPT and says, please, based on this image, can you generate the 24 page?
Because sometimes we do things inside there and it's like, oh, that's great.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would be an image that I would bring inside ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to create all the pages based on this cartoon face.
Okay.
But that's a class for another day. we can stay on.
Specialized animation class or whatever, or drawing class, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I think we did pretty good. People learn a lot today, and next week is going to be even more. Hopefully we don't lose too many people and lost them inside this workflow. But it's very interesting to see and read those stories. I fall in love with all of them, and I'm having like just from this workflow, I'm having probably at least 3 series that I really want to get published in the next 2 years.
Yeah, no, this is been productive for me too. I keep getting more serious. It's like, oh, when am I gonna have time to get this
And
out?
we use the same system for the adult books too. So
Yeah. So and you can join with the adult books if you want, or if you're okay with that, and get extra. You have to be over 18.
extra help and extra understanding how to work with this workflow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys, and thank you, Manon. This has been a fantastic back to school series workshop.
Super. Thank you, everyone. Have fun. Go write and catch us inside the Discord. Share your story, share your question and discovery, because we have a lot of you guys who discover things, like Mimi discovered a few things, and I have where is she? Where's my little cute voice guy? popping out all the time. Where are you? Is she still with us?
I'm here.
Mimi is here, yes.
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
That Mimi, Ellie Murdoch. She also,
Ellie.
yeah, Ellie. She used a lot.
I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah. So I got you, my dear. So she asked question, I answer her question. So she's having a lot of fun too. So Mimi and Ellie are working very hard on those workflows. So I congratulate both of you because you share with us, and I love it because you actually give us more idea on doing things in the same time. And everyone else too. So I don't want to forget anybody else. James working very hard at it. The one who asked a lot of questions earlier too. Zedicus, you're very quiet. What's going on with you?
I've got an Ellie character in my book who works with Sherlock Holmes, so she's called Elementary. So, and it's Shirley Holmes is the Sherlock. So it's Shirley Holmes and Elementary Watson, but never mind.
Was it me being quiet?
No, I was talking about Zedicus.
Oh, yeah.
But I really like your voice, Ellie.
I've been excited. I think I may have a book that I can actually publish.
That's exciting. Very, very
Yeah.
exciting. I'm
It's
very
only a little one, but it's a start.
It is a start. My first book was very, very small.
Yeah.
So, and it's a start because once you have it in your hands, says, wow, that wasn't so hard. Then the next book, it's easier and easier, and then there you go. You have a series up, and then you have 52 books to write. So it's always fun. Love you too, Zedicus. Missing you a lot. So on this, I'm going to say good night. I'm going to go edit that video to bring it up as soon as possible and work on the bonus video. I still have to sleep through all that.
Yes, you do. Thanks, Manon. See
All
you
right.
later.
Good night, everyone.